Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions as we continue our coverage of the League One. I have no idea what round it is. Please, if you enjoy our videos, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and let us know your predictions below. Before we get into the exciting stuff, the predictions, though, Ian, last week was an absolute clusterfuck.
Yes, it was. I don't think you can predict another week like this where we both got one correct score and we got absolutely everything else wrong. The scores were crazy. They were so crazy. Like, if you were doing a pools coupon, you're having a field day. 3-3, 2-1-1s, a 2-2 draw, 2-2-2 draws. Nuts. But not a good weekend for us, Tom. But we did tie, so I don't want to overstate it. We'll downplay it, but it does mean that this weekend is double points!
I'm hyped. I'm hyped, Ian. I'm hyped. All that's left to do is very quickly thank our Patreon subscribers, PJ Simpson, Matthew Bowden, Grandstand Betters, and the lovely pessimistic/optimistic brother Alan. But without further gilding of the lily, Shrewsbury Town hosting Portsmouth FC.
Well, you would think, Thomas, that Portsmouth should win this one pretty comfortably.
You would.
With now they've finally got rid of the jacket master. They've employed Oxfordshire's own Temple Cowley brothers into the role, and you would like to Portsmouth fans would like to think that they'll start winning games with a bit of style and start marching up the league. They started with a really good 2-1 win against Ipswich. Obviously goals from Naylor and Harness. They haven't played since that. Shrewsbury did have a good result against Hull and followed up with a good win against Burton. So they're no mugs, and they're having that sort of period they've had before in the season where they start to gain points and pick up momentum. It's probably too late for Shrewsbury to mark any sort of a challenge on the playoffs, but yeah, this season's so nuts. A couple more wins and who knows where they might be. But I'm going to be going for Portsmouth in this one. I think it will be a 3-1 Portsmouth victory.
Shrewsbury in 17th now. They're 10 points off the playoffs, but they do have 3 games in hand over a lot of the opposition above them. I just don't think they're also good enough to make the push-up, but they have just about secured safety for themselves. Portsmouth, on the other hand, obviously, they slipped off the jacket. They put on a gilet. Their arms are now free to do some attacking movement. They feel mobile and ready to go, and I definitely think they're going to win this. I can't believe they've fallen out the playoff places, and seeing Blackpool and Doncaster above them, both of them look ripe for the picking. So I will also go with a Pompey victory, but I'll go with 2-1.
AFC Wimbledon versus Northampton Town.
Northampton are in 20th now. They scraped their way out with a huge 1-0 victory over the Yellows. I believe it was at the Chasm as well. But it's 20th place, was it not? Was it at the Cobblers' home? So yeah, at least I got the nickname right.
Yes, and the Cobblers' home is called?
Cobbler Roll.
There you go, well done. Good stuff.
I should have said Timpson's there. That might have made more sense. Anyway.
That's good.
23rd place is AFC Wimbledon. They are only 3 points behind, and they will see this as an ideal chance to catch up to him. If Wimbledon can somehow win by 3 clear goals, they will jump above Northampton in the table. Neither of these teams are having a particularly distinguished time of it, though I will say that Wimbledon have drawn 4 of their last 5. And if we know anything about teams drawing lots of games, it's that they can beat Oxford United. So, I am going with a 1-1 draw in this fixture.
I would say that most sides could throw their hat into the ring for beating Oxford United, Tom, especially after the way they played against Northampton. A terrible result and performance. You can see the review on that we did yesterday, or 2 days ago by the time this video comes out, in the top corner. They deserve to win. They played to their strengths. They got a goal and they held on to it pretty comfortably, and it came off the back of them. A bad defeat to Crewe, but they are sort of finding a way to pick up points. But as AFC Wimbledon are doing the same as well. Good 2-2 draw with Charlton at the weekend. And it's just weird. None of these sides, even if they go on really terrible runs, are dead and buried. Even though it reminds me of a couple of seasons ago where you kind of think, oh wow, that side's going to go down. All of a sudden they get points on the board and everybody just gets really close and piled up together. So it's going to be a fascinating final 10 weeks of the season, or 10 games, whatever it is of the season, to see who's going to go down. But I think this one's going to be a draw. I think a point apiece. I'm going to go 1-1.
Wigan Athletic versus Ipswich Town.
So Ipswich Town find themselves reeling after a defeat to Portsmouth at the weekend, and that does come off the back of a pretty good run for them, and they'll be hoping that they'll be looking at this one, and Paul Cook will be looking at this one as almost like not a must-win game, but a game where they feel like it's a banker for them to get points, really, wouldn't you? And it'll be a real blow for their playoff chances if they don't pick up 3 points in this one. And it's a Wigan side that you just never know what you're going to get from them. All season they've been extremely inconsistent. They lost 3-1 to Accrington, who Accrington themselves were coming off a bad run, and you'd expected Wigan to take the lead in the first minute and then just seemed to capitulate in that one. So I think you have to go with Ipswich in this one. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Ipswich win.
Ipswich are confusing. New ownership came in. New manager came in. They finally got rid of the world's most mediocre manager in Paul Lambert. And it all started really well. They got a draw against Lincoln. They beat Plymouth Argyle. And then they lost to a Fleetwood side. And they also conceded 2 goals to a Fleetwood side. And then they lost to Portsmouth. And Ipswich are in this weird state now where they're in 10th. And they're only 2 points off the playoffs. But you just can't look at them and think they're actually going to get their shit together before the end of the year. So I think they're probably going to fall short. Equally, Wigan feel too big to go down, but they've shipped 64 goals this season. They're now only 2 points off the bottom. I mean, last week we banked the team that should win in every game, and we got one result right each. So 3-1 to Ipswich.
There we go. Blackpool versus Plymouth Argyle.
So inexplicably, Ian, Blackpool now sit in the playoffs, whereas Oxford languished 3 points below it. 2 weeks ago was a totally different story. Blackpool couldn't stop drawing games, but they've done a really good job. They've pushed themselves up into 6th place. Equally, Plymouth Argyle, I think, and you'll talk about this because I don't have the results in front of me, they finally won a game. They're on 48 points. They're 8 points off the playoffs. I just don't think it's going to happen for them this year in that respect. But it is their first year in the league, Ian, I think.
Well, not ever. They've been in the Football League a long time. But it's their first year back in League One, yeah. So they're doing the best out of all the promoted sides that are up there. I think them and Crew doing better than the other two sides that came up. We won't mention the side from Wiltshire. Yeah, look, we talked about this, how your outlook on the season could change week to week now, and it will do throughout the rest of this campaign. A couple of games ago, Blackpool, it was a bit like, we're just not scoring goals, we're just not good enough. 2 really good wins against sides in and around the promotion picture in Oxford, and a great win against Peterborough, and all of a sudden it's like the illuminations have been turned on, and they're thinking about for the playoffs and how they look really strong. And who knows, a win for Plymouth in this one, and all of a sudden they'll be looking at the playoff picture again. But I am going to go for Blackpool. They look very solid at the moment. I think you kind of have to. But I think I went first last time, so I will throw it over to you. But before you do give your score, I'm just going to say it again. Plymouth Argyle.
Green Army.
There we go.
It's my fault. I missed it. I've got Blackpool to win 2-0.
That pretty much sounded like I was going to do, actually. So, but
go 2-0.
I'll go for a 2-1 Blackpool victory.
Peterborough United versus Accrington Stanley.
And again, it's the form guide is absolutely nuts, and Peterborough did have that amazingly good run up until they played Oxford, and then the Oxford curse has really hit them, and they've barely been able to put anything on the board since. So they were almost arguably, what's the worst result here? They lost to Blackpool 3-1, but that came off the back of drawing 3-3 with my beloved Rochdale. But what is the worst result for Peterborough there? That's a shocker of a game, going down over to Scotland and getting that result was terrible. And it's a promotion campaign that has already fallen off the rails once this season. Looks like it's fallen off the rails again, which isn't good for me considering I had a bet on them to win the league. But this is a real tough one, because Accrington are also flipped their form around in recent weeks as well. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to put a Desmond on the board here, 2-2.
Deuces, baby. I'm going to do one of those things where I talk way too much about a fixture, but it was only a couple weeks ago. We did our preview of the Hull versus Oxford game, and I was talking about how good Hull were and how they'd played 3 or 4 games more than Peterborough, but no matter what, they were top 2. But, Peterborough were bearing down on them. Cue Peterborough playing Oxford United around that time and just falling apart. They've now made up almost all the games against Hull. They've only got 1 game in hand, and admittedly, if they win it, they're tied for top. But Hull's goal difference right now is 11 better than theirs. And Peterborough it felt like this last season, they just refused to get promoted. It's like they're trying as hard as they can to not be successful. They have what I think is probably the best attack in the league. I get it, Hull fans. I get it. You think you have a better attack than them. But you look at Peterborough and you're just like, goals. I expect 4 goals a game, every game. But they're nuts, just like the rest of the league. Equally, my Stanley have finally picked up some points. They're now equal on points with the Yellows of Oxford United. But it was coming off the back of 3 really tough losses. They sit 12, 3 points off the playoffs. Backing against Peterborough, to me, is insanity. 3-1 to Posh. Also, note that I got their nickname right. That was...
Accrington Stanley aren't called Posh. Burton Albion versus Fleetwood Town.
Oh no! The thrill is gone, Ian. The
Right.
thrill is gone.
I'm just, I'm not saying a word. I'm just waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
I'm not going to say anything too bad. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, the winning run, the Messiah himself, the savant from Holland. They've lost 2 of their last 3 matches. Is he out of his depth? Does he know what he's doing? Can we trust Jimmy Floyd? Because the wheels have come off. They've come off of Burton. No, honestly, Burton have just kind of returned to ground. They haven't won a game in 3 matches, but honestly, their 7 or 8 game winning run was nuts. Congratulations to them. They're now 7 points out of the relegation zone on 18 points. Tough match here, though. Fleetwood seem to have righted the ship. They've won 3 of their last 4 to sit 15th on 50 points. Yeah, they're only 6 points off the playoffs, but the one thing we know about Fleetwood is they have a huge problem scoring goals. The finding goals for them has been really tough all season, especially since Chet Evans left. So I think I'm going to go really rogue here and go with a 0-0 draw.
That sounds pretty good, I think. I'm not going to say what I was thinking, but you managed to get through talking about Fleetwood Town without mentioning you-know-who, so well done. Thomas, that's the start. Well done. We can all start the healing process from here. What? No, you don't need to ruin it now. Look, Fleetwood are on a really good run. I know you talked about Burton's good run, but Fleetwood, it looked like it was season over, and then they picked up a really good purple patch of form, which propelled them right back into the cup of the players' fixture. But you lost 2-0 to the side that cannot be named. That is unforgivable. Unforgivable, Fleetwood Town. You've literally ruined your season with that one result there. And as I'm so still annoyed with you for that one, I'm going to be backing the Brewers in this one. Come on, you Brewers. I'm going for a 2-1 Burton Albion win.
MK Dons versus Doncaster Rovers.
Well, it was MK Dons who managed to kind of break the Burton hot streak, wasn't it, really, with a 2-1 victory at the weekend. And it was a really good result. And again, probably just as unpredictable as any other result in this league. I don't think many people would have backed MK Dons for a win in that one. So that was a really good result for them. Doncaster just continued to, a bit of meltdown, really, aren't they? Just continue to just kind of meander along. They did get a 2-2 draw with Gillingham, which isn't a bad result, and they did come back from 2-0 down in that game to get that 2-2 draw, but the form isn't great. MK Dons are a challenging side to play, but they can be their own worst enemies. Also can Doncaster be as well in terms of giving away goals. So I think this one's going to have quite a lot of goals in it, but I am going to go for a Doncaster win. I think it's going to be... I'm going to go for a 3-2 Doncaster win.
Well, at least it'll be a thriller. So Doncaster currently sit 5th on 57 points. They haven't won a match in 4 games, and it's testament to how well they were doing that they are going through this run. And just to clarify, before their win 5 games ago, it wasn't a great run before then either. They have fallen down the table, once as high as I think 2nd or 3rd. They're now very much in the bottom half of the playoff run. It very much feels like Hull, Peterborough, Sunderland, and Lincoln will duke it out for the top 2 places, and then there's 2 spots available. And Doncaster are falling apart in my mind. I don't ever think this club was good enough to be in a promotion space. They did really well. Darren Moore gets some credit for what he managed to build out this team, but I'm not feeling it right now. And MK Dons, Ian, let me tell you, they got over the Oxford curse after all those bad results, post 1-1 draw. They've won 3 in a row. They sit 13th on 51 points. They're only 5 off the promotion places. They're only 6 off Doncaster Rovers. And this is where Doncaster come unstuck. Because as the Doncaster fans love to tell us, they like to mold to the opposition team and soak themselves into it.
I don't know if
well,
they
you
do
can't.
now.
You can't soak yourself into 71% possession. You just fall asleep and end up losing 3-0. So it's not going to happen. MK Dons are going to walk this one over 2-0.
Hull City versus Gillingham.
So, I mean, because I actually can't be kept on point at any one stage of the day, I've already spoken about Hull, I think twice now. But top of the table, 3 points clear of Peterborough, game in hand, but also a goal difference that's 11 better. They've been the toast of the league as far as I'm concerned. They have technically, as far as results, definitely been the best team in the league. They look really good when we've watched them play. Gillingham, on the other hand, have been really up and down. They're on one of their better runs, 3 wins in their last 4, only 1 loss in their last 5. They sit 2 points off the playoff places in 9th. They're a point above Oxford in 11th. I have to go for Hull. As much as they failed me last week, you generally back the league leaders, the best team, and one of the biggest clubs in the league to win a game. So 3-1 to Hull.
Yeah, I don't see this one having as many goals in it, and I think you're going to see the big difference between Steve Evans and Carl Robinson as managers. Is Steve Evans is a lot more tactically astute when it comes to the defensive side of the game, and I think he will know that he can't really just go toe to toe and go, you have a go, we have a go with this whole City side, and he'll back his side to be resolute, hard to break down, and then just try and nick something with 2 players in really good form in Oliver and Graham. And so I don't think it's going to be an easy afternoon for Hull, like one where they're going to have to be patient. And they are, for me, they are the best side in the league, but it has been a long time since I've watched Sunderland, so they might be the only side that comes close to them. I am going to go for a 1-0 Hull victory. Bristol Rovers versus Athletic Football Club Sunderland.
Now, Ian, do you know what my problem with this club is?
Which one?
Bristol Rovers.
Tell me, Thomas.
They're managed by Joey Barton. Any club managed by Joey Barton does not get my respect or my love. And last week, I made the heinous error of backing Bristol Rovers to win a football match. And I shall not ever do that again. I will not be caught out by Joey Barton and his band of miscreants from Bristol. I will not back them. Sunderland, despite their most recent result, have been absolutely fantastic. They're only 5 points off the off first place, 2 games in hand. If they win both of those, Ian, by my maths, they go top.
Okay.
I backed them to win this game. I backed them to win this game 3-0. Take that, Joey. Personal attack. It's a personal attack. Come at me, bro.
Look, you were a bit foolish to back Rovers to beat Plymouth last week, but you didn't do it because of Joey Barton. You did it because our good friend Charlie at One Rovers Vlogs, who is having while his YouTube channel is exploding and going out of the stratosphere in terms of subs and views, he's having a tough time of it as a football fan at the moment. 2 miserable results for them. One against Plymouth, losing at home to the side that shall not be named as well. So another unforgivable result for them. And this one is almost seems like this is almost one of those anomaly ones where Bristol Rovers will go and win out of nowhere, but you just cannot back it. Sunderland have done a really good job, and I back friend of the channel Robert Mills has said he's got a boss who's a Sunderland fan, and he says one of the things Lee Johnson's done is just keep it simple. They play with 2 wingers, they get the ball out to the wingers, they get the ball in the box, and they score goals. It's like, don't overcomplicate football if you don't have to. And I'm sure we're going to get to a manager who likes to overcomplicate football in a few minutes. But I'm going to go for a Sunderland win as well. I think it's going to be a nice and easy win for them. 2-0 victory for the Mackhams. After an awful week, we come to a game live on Sky with an Oxford side who are in bad form, who are useless when they play in front of the Sky cameras. Oh, I will be live streaming all of it to see it. I'm not looking forward to it personally, but it is time for the main event.
It's Oxford United versus Lincoln City. Live streamed on Friday night.
This has been a tough week for Oxford. It comes off the back of 2 games ago where we had a wonderful victory against Doncaster Rovers and looked really good. We followed that up with a really bad performance and result against Blackpool, and then we followed that up somehow with an even worse performance and result against Northampton Town. And the Northampton Town result, performance, tactics is just still something that sits really badly with me. I don't think a result has really annoyed me as much this season as that one, more than losing to the side that shall not be named at home. This one has really still sat with me and annoyed me, just in the fact of we never gave that game a go. And it's just like, I just don't get Carl Robinson's tactics, and I just don't get why the side went out and played in such a poor way. They're coming up against the Lincoln side who are hanging on to their promotion campaign. They've struggled over the last few weeks. The victories have dried up, but they haven't been beaten a lot. They've had a lot of draws, had a good 1-1 draw last weekend against Sunderland, and they're just sort of hanging in there. And I'm really genuinely worried about Oxford in this game.
Yeah, Ian, and I thought I was going to be the voice of discontent here, but I'm going to ramble a little bit, and I want to have a conversation about this, and we'll talk about this more on Friday. But I know it's a microcosm, and I know every game totally changes everything, and a win and you're on top of the earth, and a loss you're on the bottom. But I think you and I have had serious concerns about squad rotation and certain aspects of Oxford's play and its overuse of certain players and its underuse of others throughout the entire season. But we've kind of, wait it out. The season's not over. But the results against Northampton and Blackpool have been nothing short of, I believe the term you used is abject. They've been nothing short of abject. And I'm looking at it now, and I'm looking at Blackpool on a really good run right now. I'm looking at Charlton, who are on a really good run right now. Gillingham on a really good run right now. The fact that bloody Pompey aren't in the promotion spots anymore. And I'm thinking there's probably only one spot left, because I think Portsmouth are going to right the ship. I think they're going to play well enough. And there's about 9 clubs going for 6th place now. And I rank Oxford like number 6 in them, with the way they're playing and the management choices.
You're not wrong to say it, and I think that it does seem like a very sudden turn to to doom and gloom from me on this channel. But the performances were really poor, and we just don't look like we're going to score goals. We don't look like a massive threat. We don't look like we can score goals other than Matt Taylor sticking the ball in the back of the net. Everything through all the rest of the side, the goals have just completely dried up. And we don't look good enough. We had a little run where we were good enough to ground out some 0-0 draws. That seems to have passed now. The sloppiness is starting to come in. It feels like the long season is catching up on Oxford. Look, this can change really quickly, and you only need 2 good wins and the whole season is flipped around. But at the moment, Oxford need to really show the fans, they need to show us that they are still fighting for this promotion spot, because at the moment it didn't look like they are.
Yeah. That being said, Lincoln have dropped way down the table. They were in and around first place for a huge portion of the year. Now they're on 62 points, 7 points shy of Hull, but they do have a game in hand. But they haven't won in 4. They've lost 2 of the last 4 as well, drawn the other 2. It's been a really rough go of it for them, and that may be the only saving grace, is that I think Map's going through a bit of a difficult time. And at least both of these clubs hopefully treat this as a we have to win match, and we'll see some excitement. Ian, do you want to go first, or should I in predictions?
Right, obviously I can't show weakness, so I have to say Oxford to win. So I'll just say Oxford to win 2-1. But I really just think that this is a game where you're going to see Michael Appleton quite easily getting the better of Carl Robinson in this game, because Lincoln don't have to come out and press. They don't have to come out and push. They'll probably just know if we just let Oxford just kind of have the ball, they're not really going to hurt us too much. And I think they'll be confident that they can pick them off either with a couple of set pieces, like what Blackpool did, or just trying to get a mistake and make the most of it. And I'd say if Oxford go a goal down in this game, no chance of coming back. We are fucking hopeless when we have to chase a game. But as I can't show weakness, I'm going to go 2-1 Oxford.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0 to Lincoln. I think Michael Appleton's the better manager. I think Lincoln are the better club. And we'll talk about it on the live stream. Please join us at 9:30. Match kicks off at 7:30. Match kicks off at 7:45.
If you're an Oxford fan, you might want to join us at 9:30 when the game's over.
We'll still be on, and there will be a heinously large amount of alcohol in front of us for the entire duration. But honestly, I normally back Oxford in a lot of games that you don't think I should back them in, but I can't. I just can't. The Lincoln have had a really good year. And again, it comes down to the management at this point, and I think Michael Appleton's a better manager. Cue a 7-all draw. Like, that's definitely what's going to happen. If you've got money, high-scoring draw, that's what you need to bet on. Thank you very much to all of you for watching. Thank you for those of you that subscribed. If you haven't hit like, smash like. If you haven't subscribed, please smash subscribe. Hit us up with your predictions below. Join us tomorrow night, 7:30 on this channel. We are live streaming. The stream is already set up. You can find it on our page. Join in, come in, watch some football. Tell us what you think. And again, if you're enjoying this, please sign up to our Patreon. We love your support. We will see you tomorrow. We'll see you in like 24 hours. Ah!